Meanwhile, Casper site and other channels, and I've been seeing this online, are reviving the Haim Eshed story. Now, I've talked a lot about Brigadier General Haim Eshed, co-founder of the Israeli space program, in his claims about the Galactic Federation and how the Galactic Federation are interacting with world governments. That Trump knew about it and wanted to disclose this in his first term, but was talked out of it, which is interestingly echoed by something Ross Coulthart said, is that Trump knew about it and wanted to disclose. But Ross's information was that he was threatened into not doing it. Either way, more and more people are talking about Haim Eshed's claims again, and I love it. So Casper is showing this clip from NBC News. Let's give a listen.
Exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Milley explains this one.
Okay, yeah, so I've talked a lot about that, and, I've even given some possible reasons of, explanations for what they meant by that. We don't know what space and spaceships are. Well, I have some potential insight on all of that, at least stuff that I've gleaned from my own research. For example, Dick Algeier did that amazing remote viewing with Daz Smith on the Phoenix Lights. And they were both seeing very similar things. This giant craft, this giant control room of that craft, awesome energy source, and a human-like being that was interacting with smaller beings, presumably like the gray aliens. Dick Algeier was able to make contact with that human-like being, and they were able to interact in that weird consciousness space of remote viewing. And the being was kind of brushing Dick off, saying, why should I talk to you? You don't even know what space is. For example, you think stars are just balls of gas. They're actually portals. So, go away, you cretin, you caveman. I've got other things to do. So that seemed to be, more or less the extent of it. But he was saying that, yeah, humans didn't know what space was, in that the suns are portals. And I've given various pieces of evidence in various videos, complementing that, suggesting that in various different ways that the suns are portals going to other stars in some cases, portals to outside of this reality or dimension, something like that. So that could be part of what Haim Eshed's information is, if it's legit. The Galactic Federation's wants and demands of humanity before they reveal themselves to the public. It could be that spaceships, because we don't know what space or spaceships are. Spaceships aren't simply to go into space. Spaceships are to go through suns and through portals into other dimensions. They're not simply 3D vehicles, but the way that the beings use them, they are multi-dimensional vehicles. And space is much more complicated than we, understand. And yeah, there's other dimensions and there's portals and all sorts of craziness. And so I think that's maybe what the Galactic Federation meant, or at least part of it, if Haim Eshed is on the level. Now, he's a very credible guy. Like I say, Brigadier General, co-founder of the Israeli space program. He's an older man. He, wrote this book. He's, done these interviews. So he doesn't seem like somebody that would fib. He doesn't seem like a hoaxer or a fibber. He seems like somebody that at the end of his life is telling the truth about stuff. But hey, I don't know the guy. I would love your thoughts on all of this. If nothing else, I would love for Haim Eshed, who I believe is still living, to come out answering some of these questions, because that would be super fascinating. I do think there probably is a Galactic Federation or something analogous to that. I mean, I don't know what they call themselves, but that seems like a likely word they would use for us to understand. But beings that do come to this, planet seem to operate largely by the same rules. No Phoenix lights during daytime over multiple cities, no giant craft flying around, no obvious overt interference in our affairs or showing themselves publicly. No, they're not doing UFO disclosure. Stuff like that. They might gently tweak us around the edges and try to increase our consciousness and our understanding. The theory of wow, as Grant Cameron says. But that's about as far as they're going to go. Yeah, it's up to us to, look closer at what they're trying to show us and to realize this greater truth of the reality that we live in. But yeah, all the various races that come here seem to operate by those rules, no mass contact, right? So that seems to suggest a guiding set of principles or even laws, as if they're under some sort of common bureaucratic structure, like a Galactic Federation. UN in space, a NATO in space, space NATO, space-o. So I don't know. I don't know if there is a Galactic Federation, but it makes sense to me that there would be, and it makes sense according to the behavior that we've seen. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, Christopher.
The reason I uploaded that is because he starts talking about the sun being a portal, and that when we come to a greater understanding of what space is and spaceships are, it includes this idea that the sun is a portal. I know that from personal experience because I recorded it, uploaded it on YouTube, and within about 12 hours they wiped out my channel. Here's a video I recorded a while back titled Sun Tunnel Stargate Confirmed by Space Labs and the Grandmaster of the Templar, Order of the Knights Templars. We'll watch a piece of that. I'll leave the link in the description to the remaining still frames I have of the sun tunnel opening and craft going through it, which got my channel wiped.
I also used to work for the Space Labs up in Boulder, Colorado, which is still up there. It's in the Department of Commerce building, of all things, which has this huge underground network. But part of what the Space Labs do is they work on different projects. And the one I used to work on, which was on at the time, it was a classified satellite known as the Advanced Composition Explorer, or the ACE satellite. You can go online and find this satellite to this day. What it does is it gives real-time solar weather updates. We have a satellite at an area known as the L1 point, where the gravity of the Earth and the gravity of the sun is equal, and it just looks at the sun constantly. And with different cameras and different sensors to detect what's coming out of the sun.
Solar flares and such.
Solar flares
right,
and such,
right.
Yeah.
What did the satellite pick up?
Well, it picks up these solar flares that's coming out of the sun, but one of the other things we also noticed regularly was that there was UFOs or UAPs coming out of the sun. And so we have to wonder why. Why are they coming out of the sun? What are they doing? Where are they coming from? Are they plasma beings that just live in the sun? Or are they actual craft from another part of the galaxy or another part of the universe that are entering through wormholes, and one of them just happens to come out of our sun? By that logic, there is a theory that there's a small black hole in the center of the sun, and this may be why when we see solar flares coming out of one side of the sun, we also see them coming out of the opposite side, which is almost like an event horizon, right? Which does suggest that there could be a small black hole in the center of our sun, and that is being used as a wormhole for craft of other civilizations out in the universe to be coming through, and why they're here, is anyone's guess. But it's my opinion, and this isn't a personal opinion.
Link for that video will be in the description from the Brothers of the Arcana podcast, episode 4, with Timothy Hogan, Grandmaster of the Order of the Knights Templar, who worked for Space Labs, and explains to you that what they would see with those satellites is UFOs or UAPs coming and going to and from through the sun. I know this for a fact. My channel got wiped out for uploading a video showing the sun opening for 6 seconds and craft going through it. I will also link in the description, in the pinned comment, this video titled Final Sun Tunnel Video, where I walk through and I show you the still frames that I still had from that video that I uploaded where they wiped my channel out, showing you these bands of color that appear around the sun, the difference between the 6 seconds when it was open and the points where it wasn't open and it was a regular sun. And you can see there's one of these circles with a dot in it right there. Up above that cloud line, there's one right here. They move around. They're at different locations in different frames. Still frames, screenshots that I took of the video before they wiped out my channel. And by that time I had deleted it from my phone. The point is, the sun is a tunnel. That's what you're going to come to understand as we progress. And as he said, it seems like there might be a Galactic Federation giving us incrementally increased exposure to the truth about our world, but no mass contact, like the Prime Directive on Star Trek. Do not interfere with the growth and development of another culture and their consciousness. They can tweak us around the edges a little bit. And here's a little bit more tweakage for your melon.
X-Channel Nazca Mummies wants to know, is the Siberian alien video evidence that the Nazca mummy beings might still be with us? This is something that I've talked about multiple times. This really amazing footage of this being that was apparently found dead in Siberia. Later, the people that found it were made to walk the story back, and a prop that was made out of chicken bones or chicken skin was shown to the public to debunk this. But as I've shown in previous videos, that chicken skin prop doesn't seem to match the original footage of this being. And a lot of the features of this being filmed in Siberia match, pretty much one for one with the Nazca mummies, including there's some little holes in the side of its cheek that closely resemble the Nazca mummies. Just an incredible discovery, a grisly and a sad discovery. This is a being that potentially died in the snow or died somewhere and was washed up. But an amazing find of this being. If this is legit, I wonder what happened to it.
This means they aren't from 2,000 years ago mummified. This means they're still here with us. Let that affect your perception of reality the way it might have affected the guy who actually found this himself and then was encouraged to come out and tell people, no, that was just a prop that I made with some chicken skin. And they didn't even have to come through with threats. We'll kill your wife and your kids. You better go back out and tell everyone it was fake. They probably said, you see how shattered your psyche is after discovering this? How it has completely disintegrated your worldview? How you're not considering not even going to work and functioning as a human being anymore? That will happen to the world. We are in the process of disclosure. It has to be a very sophisticated and delicate operation. So for the benefit of your fellow humans, go out there now and say that this was a prop that you made with chicken skin, in order that you've put the truth out there for people who can handle it, and then you've put the cop out for people who want to pretend this isn't real and that some guy just made it out of chicken skin. Give them both options. The people who can handle the truth will not believe that you made this out of chicken skin. They'll know that was a story that you were made to tell as part of a cover-up, but you will still have exposed them to the truth. They need incrementally increased exposure, not catastrophic disclosure. And just the way you and your family have been affected since you found this being, so it is that the rest of the world would be affected. So please, do the humanity a favor and walk out this dummy that we made out of chicken skin and say that this is what you filmed in the snow and it was just a hoax. Link will be in the description so you can watch this full video by Cosmic Road. I will also link these two videos that I created, probably a couple of years ago. One titled ET Bodies Revealed at Congressional Hearing and ET Wearing a Ring, UAP Disclosure Act 2023, and the Coming Witch Hunts, where Jaime Maussan rolled out a couple of these bodies, two of them, in front of the Mexican Congress. This is from the video titled ET Bodies Revealed at Congressional Hearing. There's two of them. There they are, side by side, one in each casket. They look exactly like what we've been shown in the movie E.T. Again, incrementally increased exposure through things like the movie E.T. And one of those mummies is wearing a metal band around their finger that you can see here. I will also include this linked in the description, E.T. wearing a ring. There's your tweakage for your melon to incrementally give you an increased exposure so you can have an inoculation of a little bit of a small dose at a time so that when you receive the full dose, it doesn't kill you, send you into a catatonic state. The sun is a tunnel, I know from first-hand experience, and when humanity discovers this, ontological shock is a word that does not even begin to describe the experience they will go through. Going to work the next day will not even be anywhere on their radar, much less their number one priority. Acquiring money and physical material wealth to provide yourself with more comforts and conveniences inside of the alien ant farm that you know now know you're in. When you discover the sun is a portal, a way in and out, and there are people who come and go to and fro through that doorway, your whole world is disintegrated, and every single experience and concept of knowing that you previously had no longer applies. Listen to what this general says. Here's a little bit more incrementally increased exposure for you. Let's check that out.
Recently I saw a video on the internet with a 4-star general giving a speech. The general's name is Mark Milley, and he said something very interesting in his speech at Norwich University. I am not sure if he meant to say it or not, but I found it very profound. Mark Milley is a highly decorated general, graduate from Princeton and MIT. He was giving the speech to a graduating ROTC class. See if you can spot what he said that was so interesting in this small clip. A link to the full speech will be in the description. Let's take a look.
And you will graduate and be in that world. And you're going to be leading the soldiers and the sailors, the airmen and the Marines in that world. You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men. You're going to be dealing with tribes. You'll be dealing with national leaders and local leaders. You'll be dealing with politics and economics. You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men. You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men.
You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men.
What do you